Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk a little bit about all the drama that's going on with Mattel getting back the license for DC toys. Now, let's start off with some basics here real quick. Basically, come 2026, Mattel is going to get back the master license to DC toys, basically. Toys, collectibles, adult collectibles, kids' toys, all that kind of stuff. They've gotten the master license. Now, I've seen some speculation out there about what exactly that means. Now, of course, details of any license agreement can always be tweaked. So it's really kind of hard to say until the details are actually publicly announced, probably by Mattel. But more than likely, and usually what happens when a company gains a master license, that's not just a license for one particular subgroup of a particular, brand or product or whatever it is. So as it stands now, for instance, McFarlane has what most people would consider the adult collectible DC license from Warner Brothers, whereas Spin Master has the Kids Toys DC license from Warner Brothers. The master license would cover both of those things, and in fact a whole lot more. Another thing that you have to take into consideration is a lot of times these licenses are offered by region. So it may be that Mattel, only has license rights to make DC products in United States and Europe. Usually though, with a company like Warner Brothers, it's probably either going to be a worldwide master license or worldwide except for Asia. Again, regionally, we don't know exactly what this license is going to work down to, and we don't know if there's any special caveats for certain subcategories that either Warner Brothers has left out of the master license or that potentially Mattel themselves might allow products to be made by other companies under their master license, but of course they'll still get at least a cut of that. So there's been a lot of speculation. Does this mean that McFarlane will still be able to make DC Direct stuff? Will he still be able to pump out superpowers and all these other things? Maybe. It depends on how the license is actually broken up. But usually, as I said, when they talk about a master license, it covers everything. So my guess would be that potentially, McFarlane could still do some DC Direct stuff, maybe the animated stuff. Maybe they could still be doing superpowers, but they would then be paying Mattel for the licensing fee. They would be sub-licensing those particular cutouts from the overall DC brand directly from Mattel instead of from Warner Brothers, as I'm sure is, what McFarlane has been doing and was covering under their adult collectible license from Warner Brothers. So it's hard to say exactly where this is going, but for the most part, it looks like going forward as of 2026 that unless Mattel is willing to allow McFarlane, and they will charge them to do so, but willing to allow McFarlane to continue to make certain DC toys, that more than likely McFarlane won't be making any DC toys. That's kind of how the master license works. Now again, like I said, there's probably a good chance that Mattel doesn't want to get into making the DC Direct stuff, superpowers, Batman animated, that kind of thing. So there's a good chance McFarlane might hold on to that. Still a good chance we might get some of those. Maybe also the Batman 66 line as well. And those happen to be lines that I really like. All right, so let's get into the opinion side of things. And this is where my opinion just is on everything that's going on and what I think, what I feel, and what I'm seeing out there in the toy community comes into play. The drama of it all. Because the toy community seems to be, it seems to be evenly split between people who are happy about this and people who are very upset that McFarlane is going to lose the license to DC's stuff. I don't think it's evenly split, to be honest with you. I think it's probably a 70-30 split. I think about 30% of the people I affectionately call the McFanboys, they're the 30%. and they're very loud and they're very vocal. About 70% of DC fans, people who are likely to buy DC action figures, seem to be either happy or neutral on this. They're not upset by it at all. They're either happy or they're just like, whatever. I'll get my DC toys where I can. I don't care if it's McFarlane. I don't care if it's Mattel. But there's a solid 30% that are McFarlane specific fans that are very, very upset about this. And that's fine. I mean, you know, I personally am not brand loyal. If a company does a good job, awesome. If they don't care. As you guys know, if you've watched my channel, I haven't been happy with McFarlane's usage of their DC license for quite a while. I purged everything McFarlane that I had, and I've been going back and picking up older Mattel and DC Direct and stuff like that over the last couple years or so. I've been very, very happy with that collection that's been building up. Much more happy than I ever was with McFarlane, but that's personal preference. That's me. May not be you. That's fine. I just wasn't happy with a lot of the choices McFarlane Toys was making when it came to the DC line, and I've got a whole video about that, and that's fine if you want to see what all those, quite honestly, nitpicks are, but, you know, it's my collection, and I like the things I like. So I'm happier collecting Mattel stuff or older DC Direct stuff or whatever. Now, that being said, I do like McFarlane's Batman 66 line, and I like his animated line, the DC Direct animated stuff. I still collect those. So, you know, I kind of hope he continues to license that now from Mattel and keeps making those figures, because I like those figures. And I know there's a lot of fans of Superpowers figures out there as well. I don't collect those, but I do think they're cool. So hopefully for those of us that do like some of those things, maybe they'll keep doing that. Who knows? But the 30% of McFarlane fans that are very upset about this news are quite funny, to be honest. It's ridiculous and it's a little pathetic. One of the biggest arguments I'm seeing repeated over and over again, all over Facebook, Instagram, everything else, is somebody posts a picture of some 2024, 2025 modern McFarlane figure. There's one that's going around the internet right now of the brand new Christian Bale Batman from McFarlane compared to, I believe it was the 2012, 2011 Movie Masters Christian Bale Batman, and going, look what we'll have if Mattel takes over. That's like a 13, 14-year-old figure. Are you really comparing a modern 2025 figure to what Mattel was doing almost a decade and a half ago, when people were still using iPhone 3s and Avengers hadn't even come out at the movie theaters yet? Is that what you're really basing your entire opinion on? It's a sad argument if that's all you have. The other one, of course, is, oh, well, that DC UC buck got overused. Like McFarlane hasn't been using the Bizarro buck for Superman way too many times. I mean, I know he's tried to fix that in the last 6 months or so, but come on. Like, overuse of certain bucks in any toy line is going to happen from any company. McFarlane, Hasbro, Mattel, it doesn't matter. Like, if you go to Jada Toys, their Ken and Ryu figures are exactly the same minus a couple of small differences. It's the exact same figure. Like, that's just something that happens with toys. Did DC, UC, and Mattel do that? Yeah. Does McFarlane do that? Yeah. Does Hasbro do that? Yeah. Honestly, that has never bothered me. As long as it's good reuse, I don't care if it's reuse, but whatever. People are getting upset about that like it actually means something. But you're comparing figures across 15 years of quite a lot of advancements in toy manufacturing. If you really want to do a proper, fair comparison, you would compare McFarlane toys to what Mattel is doing with the Masterverse stuff, or their wrestling figures, which are much more advanced than what they were doing with DC UC, or even going back to Mattel's DC Multiverse, 6-7 years ago. And that's the other thing. People are like, oh, we're going to get really, really crap DC figures. Look what they were doing. It's like, have you looked at the Mattel DC Multiverse Batman Ninja Wave? It was awesome. It was Marvel Legends articulation, 6.5-inch scale, which means it fits with your Marvel Legends collection if you want to cross comic book companies. All the joints and everything, and they were pinless. Before Hasbro was doing pinless, Mattel was doing pinless joints. Like, how is that bad? That wave, by the way, that Batman Ninja Wave from Mattel DC Multiverse is a fantastic wave. We'd be getting something more akin to that than than DC more than likely. So it's kind of a weird thing that these like McFanboys are getting into. Again, comparing really old figures with brand new 2025 figures, thinking that somehow Mattel's never made a good figure, not even putting into consideration anything they did right before they lost the license, or anything they're actively doing right now with Masterverse or wrestling or anything else. It's just kind of weird if that's your only argument for not wanting Mattel to get the license. It's just a bad argument. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and I feel the need to exclaim, you know, cry hard to cry harder, because first of all, this is not going to change unless something drastic happens on a corporate level. I guarantee you Warner Brothers would much rather work with Mattel than McFarlane. It's a bigger corporation. There's probably deep ties there going back at least 20 years or so. So, I mean, unless something really, really interesting and strange happens, this is happening. Like, whether you like it or not. Another argument I keep hearing is, well, if McFarlane loses the license, I'm done collecting DC. And I guess you weren't really a DC fan. I mean, again, I have no brand loyalty. I buy the stuff I want to buy when there's characters that I love. And I love DC Comics, and I'll buy them from Mattel. I've bought them from McFarlane. I'll be honest, some of them Spin Master 3 3/4 or 4-inch ones look pretty cool, because I do collect that scale. I don't care who makes them if it's a good figure. So I guess if you're just loyal to McFarlane, like, what happens if Mattel comes out and just makes absolutely amazing figures? Or you just be like, no. Well, then you're not really a DC fan. And that kind of goes into the whole, I'm seeing a lot of people online posting, well, I'm glad I have my unboxed DC Multiverse McFarlane collection. Why? They're implying like, oh, these figures are going to go up in value, so you just bought them to sell them? Then again, you're not really a DC fan if that's your concern and that's your argument about all this. Look, if you don't want to buy the Mattel stuff, cool. Nobody cares. Like, seriously, if you're just a McFarlane DC fan, awesome. That's great. Nobody cares. You don't have to keep screaming about it. If you're going to stop collecting DC when McFarlane loses the license, okay. Then if they are putting out good figures, that's more for the rest of us. We don't care. Seriously. You don't have to keep crying about it. Dude, I'm seeing people cry about it left and right all over Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and everything else. Like, it sucks that you're disappointed, and I appreciate that as a collector. Like, when something that I really liked goes away, that sucks. I don't sit there and cry about it all over social media for 2 weeks or whatever. It's a week now at this point, but like, it's a little pathetic and ridiculous. Like, again, seriously. Bad comparisons from McFanboys, comparing figures 15 years apart, not taking newer Mattel stuff into consideration, talking about how you're going to sell your stuff because it's going to be worth more money and you're not going to collect anything DC anymore. Like, it's just old and sad. I mean, look, I, up to very recently, would still occasionally pick up a McFarlane figure if I thought it was good. Why? Because I'm a DC fan first and foremost. More than, you know, whether I didn't like what McFarlane was doing with most of their line, if they would come out with a good figure, I would totally buy it. I had no problem with it. The videos on my channel talking about how great some of the stuff that came out actually was. But, I mean, come on, again, it's just getting a little old, it's getting a little pathetic. The drama is unnecessary. If you like them when they come out from Mattel, cool, buy them. That's what I'm gonna do. If they suck, I'm not gonna buy them, and you shouldn't either. It's just that simple. These are toys. Like, I love them. You can see here, I love them. I enjoy collecting them. But the drama, the ridiculousness, people are insulting each other all over online for choosing a side. Really? That's, I mean, you're collecting toys. Are you really a child at that point? Maybe? I don't know. Again, look, McFanboys, get over it. It's done. And I'm not saying that as somebody who's like, yeah, like, I'll more than likely probably be happier with Mattel getting the license back, but maybe not. Maybe I'll dislike them even more than I dislike McFarlane. And if that happens, I'm not going to be disappointed, because I'm not brand loyal to McFarlane, to Hasbro, to Mattel, to any of them. I just want good figures of characters that I love. And whoever will give me what I want, that's where I'm going to buy my stuff. That's what it boils down to. Stop being so upset. Stop with all the drama. Honestly, it's just retarded, is what it is. It's just ridiculous and pathetic. Like, it's already happened. They got the master license. Maybe McFarlane will work out a deal to license some stuff directly from Mattel, but maybe they won't. And maybe Mattel will make awful DC figures, and everybody, including myself, will hate them, and I'll just keep collecting the older stuff that I already collect. Or maybe they will make absolutely fantastic figures that are well beyond anything McFarlane did. I don't know, and neither do you, and that's the point. So why don't we all just calm down? Let's just wait, see what happens, keep buying what you want to buy, and if that's McFarlane, awesome. Stock up now. Go ahead, buy everything you can of McFarlane before he can't make his stuff anymore. That's awesome if that's what you love, and I love that you love that. As long as you are having fun and enjoying your collection, that's all that matters, and that's how you should view everyone else. So, in the end, leave me your detailed comments down below about how dramatic and traumatic this is for you if you are a McFarlane collector, because I would love to laugh about that, because I think it's ridiculous that people are getting this upset. But if you got anything else to say, leave it down below. Tell me how dumb I am, how stupid I am for liking Mattel better, or having a little hope that I might get some figures that I might actually enjoy, since I had no hope with McFarlane. Go ahead, throw the insults, throw the drama, or just give me a thumbs up. I don't care. Either way, I appreciate you guys watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.